For capturing the spirit of Pygmalion, my proposal is the Duff. So, what any film needs to capture about Pygmalion are three main things: the inequalities in society and societal pressures. So that deals with what Eliza is thought about by society based on what she does for a living, how she looks, how she talks, and how it's unfair to judge her in that way. The second deals with the importance of self identity and strong self esteem. So, being comfortable with your identity and not caring what society thinks of you. And the third is the difficulties of forcing oneself into a certain identity and how it affects well being. So, when Eliza forces herself into the identity of a duchess, society expects her to behave one way and treats her another way, and she's unused to this, and it forces her to behave a different way that's not true to her identity. So a movie that really conveys this is The Duff. So the big picture, I glazed over this a little bit, are the effects and the ability to change identity. So how does identity and self-awareness shape society's view? So that deals with how does your identity of yourself change how society thinks of you. Second is social hierarchy and the difficulty in defining it. So we care so much about social hierarchy because it defines what they think of us, what society thinks of us. And that's what Eliza is trying to change in Pygmalion. So that's very important. And third is how language and communication can shape change identity. So that deals with how language can change one culture and therefore identity. So Eliza thinks that by changing her status in language, she'll be able to be more cultured, and therefore her identity will reflect that, and society will view that and move her up in society. So this is supported in the book. One of the quotes has to do with her father talking about how he wants to be poor, but because he has all this money, society does. Now you have all this money. That's how much money middle class people have. You're now in middle class, and that deals with the distinction and issues between classes and the effect on identity. So he feels his identity is really under fire by society, even though it's not who he perceives he is. He cares what society thinks of him. That also deals with what Henry Higgins says to Eliza about what she's to do the next 6 months. So that deals with problems of identity and having others dictate who you may or may not want to be. So he doesn't even consider her identity or what she may want before telling her who she is and what she is to do. This is supported in the movie based on quotes such as, "It isn't about popularity or getting the guy, only you can define yourself." So defining your identity cannot be dictated by society or society standards. You're the only person that can dictate who you are. And also, I'm tired of being the approachable one. I want to be the dateable one. So that's taking society's labels and personalizing them. You should not care, or at least the message is in Pygmalion, you should not care about how society dictates you. It should only come from within. So this is supported in literary criticism, that Higgins challenges the legitimacy of social hierarchy, that by educating Eliza, he's saying you can restructure and change your identity and change the way society perceive you based on how you perceive yourself. And also the idea that the poor are underprivileged not by society but by nature. So it's the other way around. Society deems the poor underprivileged and they view it as a natural thing. So it deals with stereotypes based on social classes and economic standing. That's supported in movie reviews as well. For the Duff, they say that it's pro acceptance and also pro makeover. So it's about liking yourself, it's about accepting who you are and accepting yourself in society, not how society perceives you. And also, it deals with deciding where one's identity fits into society and accepting that role. So, while the movie does address most of the main points, it does not address the barrier of language or gender equality. So, it takes place in a modern setting where there's more equal rights for both genders and there's less societal judgment on how you talk. So, Bianca's never criticized based on the way she behaves simply because she's a woman, and all characters have a similar way of talking, so there's never any controversy or arguments based on how they talk. Also, Bianca, while she does transform during the film, she switches back to her original self, and that's how society judged her and accepts her as her original self, unlike Eliza, who is accepted as a fake version of herself. However, it does address the main ideas, such as inequalities in society and societal pressures. So Bianca has to overcome the stereotypes and roles she initially has in her school's hierarchy, and she has to establish herself as being someone who's comfortable with herself before she is accepted in society. So, in conclusion, the goal of this festival is to find an adaptation that depicted Pygmalion in a modern version, but also stayed true to it while being relevant in society. So, the Duff definitely captures all of the main points necessary, like finding and accepting and defining identity, outlining who you are and accepting who you are, and overcoming the social hierarchy, not caring what society thinks of you. So, being comfortable with one's own identity, understanding one's place in society are definitely main traits in the Duff and are main points in Pygmalion. So, in conclusion, the Duff is the adaptation that should be chosen for this film festival. Thank you.